Hello, everyone. This show is brought to you by Portal to Ascension, as is the New Living Expo and the Mystery Sea Cruise in Greece. And if you want to find out about our events, feel free to go to portaltoascension.org to find out what's going to be happening. And we would love to have you join us for these events. So now, what if your body already knows the truth and all you need is a simple ancient tool to help you listen? So our guest today uses tools like dowsing, one of the oldest tools in the world, really, to help activate and understand exactly what is happening for you. And she has brought dowsing out of the dark ages, I think, and helps people reconnect with their intuition, their energy, and their own personal unique solar glow. So stay tuned. We'll be introducing her in just a minute. Okay, so take a deep breath with me as we get started. I'm Joan of Angels, also known as Dr. Joan Hangarter. I work privately as a personal strategy advisor and an executive producer for both New Living Expo and for my clients. I support individuals who are navigating consequential transitions and complex decisions. My work centers on clarity, discernment, and embodying a new perspective when the stakes are high. So people who want to find me, if this resonates with you, just go to my website, joanofangels.com. Beautiful. And now I want to tell you a little bit about the New Living Expo. Our guest today is going to be at the New Living Expo, and we want to show you a little bit about what is going to be on the agenda for that.
The world is changing faster than ever before, and within this evolution, a new consciousness is rising. At the New Living Expo, thousands gather to expand consciousness, explore new conscious technologies, ancient wisdom, and the future of human potential. Immerse yourself in 3 days of heart-expanding wisdom and mind-binding awareness, with over 90 speakers sharing tools to awaken your highest potential. 125 exhibitors, 3,000 attendees, awakened souls, unite in one powerful weekend of learning, healing, and connection. Experience transformation, connection, and the next chapter of human evolution. It is time for humanity to awaken. Join us at newlivingexpo.com.
Looks amazing, doesn't it? And I even saw our guest photo in that graphic that was just shown. So let me tell you a little bit about Megan, okay? She is the creator of Solarglow meditation, where she shares intuitive practices, dowsing demonstrations, Reiki, and energy work with a global audience of hundreds of thousands. She is also a woman that many people know online as the Dowsing Rod Girl, which I can't wait to find more about. She's a lifelong meditator who quite literally fell into dowsing by accident. I'm not sure how that happens, but we're going to find that out too. And through her discovery, she opened the door for millions of people to start witnessing intuition in motion through her viral TikTok, her Instagram, and her YouTube videos. She's based in the Pacific Northwest. She brings grounded, mature, nature-connected, and refreshingly sincere presence to spiritual exploration, making intuition feel accessible, playful, and easy for all of us to explore. Megan, I am so happy you are here.
Thank you so much for having me.
No, it's a pleasure. And I got very excited when I saw your photo on the New Living Expo graphic on that. I don't know, did you catch that?
I did. That was super exciting.
Right? I don't know about you, but I like to see my photos, so that makes it interesting. So let's start with dowsing, because I too am a dowser. I started when I was like 25. I'll never forget. I actually went to this workshop, and the teacher had this pendulum, and all I could think of is, well, I should be able to move it. I mean, I'm a conscious being, and I couldn't get it to move in the beginning. And I find dowsing very excited. So how did you begin dowsing? How did you fall into it? And let's start from there.
Yeah, so like you said, it was absolutely an accident. My mother-in-law had owned a crystal shop in upstate New York, and one day out of the blue, she was like, "Hey, do you want to be Reiki attuned?" So I said, "Sure, let's go for this." I had no idea what I was getting into. I had never really looked into spirituality all that much, and it was just like, "Uh-huh, this sounds like a fun thing." She did the Reiki attunement, and I had what I think of as my Kundalini awakening. There was like this feeling of energy going up my spine, up my back, straight to my heart. And from that, it was this realization of, oh my gosh, what am I missing out in the world? And so it became this thing where I needed to start exploring every facet of spirituality. And I saw somebody doing dowsing rods, and I said, hey, I can do this. So I started doing it and putting it online, and somehow Spirit sent me an audience, which was completely unexpected, but incredible.
That's very interesting. So you became an influencer by accident.
Yes, absolutely. I really
Okay.
had started the putting the videos out online weekly as a way to keep myself accountable to the practice. It was okay, I need to do it once a week, upload a video, and it's just out there. Maybe somebody will find it, maybe not. I didn't think it would turn into what it did at all.
I think it's very exciting. I love dowsing. I had no idea you were out there doing dowsing until the other day when I started really like feeling into you. So you douse with rods. You teach people how to douse. Do you go out in nature and douse the energy, the ley lines? Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, I actually really like talking to the trees. Our yard has a ton of trees, and some of them can be a little bit cheeky. And so it's always fun to kind of see what's going on with the world, especially out in their world. They're kind of the eyes of the yard. Like they'll tell you things if you ask them.
So when you go out in your yard, are you communicating telepathically with them, or are you actually using your dowsing rods? And do you use a pendulum also? Like, how do you do all this?
Yeah, so with the trees, I will use the dowsing rods and I'll speak my questions out loud and get the response via the rods, but I also do get some telepathic communication. And I really like the dowsing rods as like a divination tool because when I first started doing this, I wouldn't have understood those telepathic messages that I received, but as I've developed in the practice, I've started to be able to discern more distinct messages from whatever entity I'm talking to. I do use the pendulum a little bit, not nearly as frequently. I don't know. I find that it's less responsive to me, maybe because I've been using the rod so much. It does work. It's just not as quick as I like it to be.
And I'm the exact opposite. I use the pendulum because it just is so responsive. I teach people how to use it. And the dowsing rods, sometimes I'm still not even sure what my yeses are with the dowsing rod because I haven't done it enough. And so I had a unique experience years ago. I was supposed to have this lunch date, and the man came to the house and he saw my dowsing rods in the living room and he picked them up. I get maybe he asked me for permission. I don't know. He picked them up, and before you knew it, he explained to me I had an underground river, and that we needed to put acupuncture needles around the whole house in the form of those metal rods that they put in the ground. Have you ever heard of anything like that?
No, I haven't. I've heard of dowsing for water, but not the acupuncture lines of the house. Did you guys try it? Like, what happened?
Well, he did. He grabbed. We didn't have lunch. Okay, he grabbed me. We went to the hardware store. He bought these. There's a name for it. I can't remember. They're like a half an inch thick, round, and they go in. And so he every 3 feet he put one in, and he claimed that that was going to clean up the energy of the house. Did it clean up the energy of the house? No, I don't think so. But maybe it cleaned up my energy. I'm not sure because I was already thinking about moving. So I'm not sure. But I learned a lot. Just first of all, having someone come in and recognize dowsing rods, I found quite unique.
Yeah, I love
Right.
that. It
Yeah.
feels like it kind of comes in and out of fashion, like every so often. Like it'll be really cool, and then people will decide they don't like it anymore, and then it'll come back.
Kind of
It's
funny
like,
because I was with my aunt one day. We were having lunch, and I took out my pendulum, and she started laughing. And she said, "Now my aunt was like 98 when she died a few years ago. She was old already." And she said, "When we were young, we used to just take a needle and thread, and we would just, does he love me or does he not? That's how it started for them.
And did he love her?
Well, I don't know. I don't think the first one did.
Oh
I
no.
don't, I wasn't around. This was before I was born, everyone. So, but people have been dowsing for a long time, and I think it's a great tool to be using, and I'm happy you teach that. I think it's exciting. It's a tradition that should continue. So, let's talk about other things that you do. Like, I know that you're a lifelong meditator. How's that impacted your life? How long have you been doing that?
So consciously, I've been doing yoga since probably my early 20s. I don't think I understood what the point of meditation was at the time, but now, like looking back, I'm like, oh, this makes a lot of sense. It's kind of like that hindsight is 2020 vision of things. But now I like to find that I meditate in a lot of different ways. So I'll go on walks every day, and that's part of kind of my daily ritual. But I also find like a flow state when I'm gardening, when I'm vacuuming the house or cleaning the house or doing whatever, apart from just the traditional sit and meditate with your eyes closed and that sort of thing.
So, what is the solar glow meditations? Then how did that come about?
So the name came from I knew I needed to work on my solar plexus chakra. I have this tendency, maybe it's ADHD, I don't know. I haven't been like formally diagnosed or anything, but I like to really go do everything. And so I tend to over rotate and overwork myself quite a bit. And so I was like, I know I need to work on my solar plexus chakra at the same time I was going through this like spiritual awakening. And so I wanted my brand to be focused on kind of the solar plexus, but like a positive spin to it instead of kind of this overworking that I had been experiencing. And so it's been sort of funny because I've gone through this transformation of like kind of just doing this once a week, fun, laissez-faire, very easygoing, to it building up into this giant thing where I have been overworking myself yet again, like through the entirety of this year. And now I'm finding that, okay, we're going to bring this like cycle of several years of my solar plexus and overworking back to a more grounded state. And so maybe it's just related to my life, but that's kind of where it's gone and been.
Interesting, because I think your success took you by surprise then, and was a lot of work. And it is a lot of work when you suddenly start having to figure out next steps, and you're in a public arena. So how does the meditation, like the solar glow meditations, do you interweave that with your dowsing work?
I do somewhat. So of course you meditate before you go into a dowsing practice and talking with spirits and then close the practice. But I also do Reiki sessions that I kind of pose as a guided meditation Reiki healing. And so I'll put those videos out once a week as well, up on YouTube. And it's kind of this practice of what is the energy we need to work on this week? How can we heal through that and then make this into a meditative practice so it's a little less scary than maybe a Reiki that is not something that people are familiar with.
Right. Well, more and more people are learning about Reiki. But now, do you have connection to the star family, to your star family? Do they come to you?
On occasion, I actually haven't talked to them very recently. I know I've got like some Pleiadian and Sirian back there, but I haven't chatted with them in a while. Have you?
Well, periodically I do, and it depends on when we're talking about, because they're not always in my awareness. I'm more connected, I think, on a regular basis to like the celestial realms, but I have that Arcturian and I think Andromedan component, and sometimes I'm just more into that. I don't know what determines that necessarily.
I don't either. I've tried to talk to a lot of these different beings. Some of them are more willing to talk to you than others, but I don't know. It's sort of funny. The energies are so very different.
So which energies are you talking about that are
Just the
different?
different like races of star beings. So like the Greys, the Pleiadians, Arcturians, all those guys.
Well, so you've had contact, connection, or a little bit of contact with all of them.
Yes. Yeah.
But ever in the like with your eyes open, or is this really an internal
No,
experience?
it's really an internal telepathic connection. There was one time, so I was doing a meditation and I was like, hey, I want to just see an alien or like a star being come and be in the yard. So I asked them to show up one night and they woke me up at like 3 a.m. and every like fiber of nerve on my body was like standing on edge and like I was just so like tense and I just knew they were there. There was three of them, uh, and I had this like opportunity to go out and look and see them, and I could not bring my body to move. It was like so visceral.
I understand that. I've had some discussions with friends who are, into ET disclosure, and we talk about, well, if the front door opened right now and a tall white or a Palladian or, an Andromedan walked in the door, how would you feel? And I realized that I might panic at first. And that's probably why they haven't really shown up for me.
That makes sense. I feel like in my head I know I want to like meet them and interact,
Right.
but there's got to be like this energetic component where you can kind of control your body beyond it.
Right, where you can control it. Now, maybe you could take your dowsing rods with you as you greet them. Is this benign? No.
Yes. Is there an is it a group that I can talk to that's maybe a little closer to our vibration? That would be great.
Interesting. Well, you know what? It's good to start to acclimate ourselves to that because, there's two kinds of disclosure that's going on. There's our personal disclosure that is turning us into ambassadors and really that contact. And then there's that outer world 3D disclosure that's supposedly coming on. But I believe we're the ambassadors. What do you think?
I think so. And hopefully it's not too scary for most folks as we talk about it more openly and more broadly.
Well, that's an interesting thing about fear, but I don't feel people should be protected from knowing the truth.
Yes.
And the truth is extraterrestrial beings have been on this planet, I think, longer than humans. We don't know. And
Yes.
that is our reality. And I'm tired of sort of going, oh, the mainstream can't deal with this.
Maybe we need to rip the band-aid off.
Thank you. All right. We need to rip the band aid off for disclosure. I'm convinced of it. Absolutely. So, people are curious about it, though. So, do you work with your clients with extraterrestrials or do they come to you with that kind of issue?
On occasion, it doesn't tend to be kind of the typical client session. Most client sessions tend to be focused on more personal matters like career, health, love, family, all that kind of stuff. On occasion, though, folks will ask about it, especially their star origins, and that one's quite usually easy to discern. Usually, there's like one prominent group that tends to come forward.
Is it so it's not hard for you to determine that?
Not usually, no.
And can you tell just by talking to someone?
Uh, yes. Do you want me to read you?
Yeah, why not?
You mentioned Octarian already, but I can definitely discern that piece of it. I think you've had a couple rounds on Lyra as well. Does that make sense
I'm
to
an
you?
old soul. People tell me that about
Yes.
Lyra. Hmm. Yeah, Arcturian always, from the moment I started talking to other people about extraterrestrials, I found a book the first day, I think, about the Arcturians. I always felt I was Arcturian. It just felt like that old soul wisdom.
Yes, absolutely. It makes a lot
Yeah.
of sense.
Yeah. And so what are you? What are you
Uh,
closest to?
I think the most recent like non-human lives I've had have been on Syria or Syrian. It's Sirius is the planet. I can't ever keep track of these things. Words are
Right.
not my forte.
Serious.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So, why do you think they're coming at this point? And do they have a message for us, love?
At this point, I think that has to do more with the astrology that's happening. I'm not a, by any means expert in astrology, but the stars are aligning in that way for this moment in time. Uh, do they have a message for us right now? they're noting the water. I think we need to take care of the water, is what they're telling us right now, which makes sense from a mostly water-filled planet.
Right?
Yeah.
A water-filled planet that's probably a little bit more toxic than it should be.
Yes, absolutely.
I wonder if they can help purify the air and the water.
They can. It sounds like they have some additional technology to help with that, but we're like, as humans, aren't willing to accept it yet. I think that comes maybe after disclosure. Yeah.
That's very interesting. Okay, so that they have information for us on how to clean up the air and the water, but perhaps our governments aren't so interested,
Yeah, I
or the
think that a lot of the
corporations.
governments are operating of this place of fear and like greed a little bit. So instead of like being offered this and working in harmony, there's more of this take and kind of plunder approach that's been going on. And so I think we need to sort of move away from the approach that has been historically kind of operating out of that fear and into this place of kind of harmony and energy exchange.
Well, that makes sense. That makes sense. So, do you see any, like, when you can you kind of look into the future? Do you use your rods and your intuition to look into future outcomes?
Yeah, I can pull the rods out if you want me to.
Oh yeah, pull the rods out. You're going to take them to New Living Expo. Let me see
Absolutely.
them. Can you hold them sideways so I can actually see them? Because
Yeah.
oh, I've had those rods. Did you get them from the National Dowsing Association?
I actually got them off of Etsy. I think they came from a small shop in Ukraine.
Oh my God, that's, can you hold them up again?
Yeah,
All
absolutely.
right. So those are not traditional. In a way, they're not traditional, right? Because they bounce a little bit. Those are those, right?
Yeah. I
Can you
think the
show everyone
tradition,
how they work?
yeah, absolutely. So basically, they are in a wooden handle, and there's this piece of copper here that can freely move. And so when I'm holding on to them, I'm not like manipulating them with my hands to spin. Like I can't make that happen. But yeah, otherwise, get into my meditative state and kind of set the intention. So I'll just run through that right now before we ask some questions.
Oh, good.
Alrighty. If you're with me and willing to answer questions, could you cross the rods for yes? Thank you. Could you open wide for no? Thank you. Could you point to your energy? Thank you. Is this Archangel Michael? Yeah. Archangel Michael tends to be who I call in most often, especially in like live settings like this. So yeah, what questions would you like to ask?
Oh, okay. Well, so we have Archangel Michael with us.
Yes, thank you.
Sweet. So does that Archangel Michael, what is Archangel Michael's role in helping with stepping into this new earth scenario that we're reaching towards?
Uh, he says protection. Yes, thank you. So he's really like this protector angel of kind of individual human energies. Yeah, thank you.
And does he have any messages for us, Archangel Michael?
His, yes, thank you. His big message is about coming into your heart energy and really feeling into that and sitting in that. I think a lot of us get really like kind of stuck in our heads. So being able to pull down to your heart space is really important. Yeah.
Sweet, sweet. So what does so one of the questions that I get a lot nowadays is what do we see for the future of the planet, or this next phase that we're going into? So could you tell us a little bit? I never expected to be asking Archangel Michael questions, everyone, but can you feel into give us a little clue about what we can expect with the next, especially in 2026 and 2027?
It looks like for 2026, there's going to be a lot more extreme weather events. Yes, thank you. I think 2027 is the year of the solar flash. Yeah, thank you. There's a lot of churn in like world governments and world politics, especially next year. Last time, so I've asked about like disclosure before, and last time I knew there was like this 2026 element to it. Is that still true? Yes, thank you. But there is also, it's like a step process. So most of the big stuff is at 2027. So it's almost like the world governments start to acknowledge this existence in a very public way in 2026. Yeah, but then actually like interacting for us as humans is further out, 2027 and beyond, looks like. And as far as ascension goes, it looks like there's going to be another big wave in late summer. I want to say August, September of next year. Yeah. Most people will take to it really well, but we do have to watch out for our friends that maybe are struggling with it a little bit because some people will be really, really surprised. Yeah. And I think the general ability to interact with non physical things will be heightened. I think that's part of the ascension process. Yeah. I think that's most of what I'm getting. Is there anything you're interested in particularly?
Well, I love having confirmation of the solar flash, okay, that it is coming. And I love what you said that there'll be an enhancement of people's gifts because I think the veil is going to be thin. You also mentioned that some people might be scared of that. So let's talk about that. So let's diffuse some of that fear right now.
It's not meant to be scary. Like, there's nothing bad that happens out of it. It's more of like this shock reaction where people are so unexpected or they're not expecting it. And so it's kind of this like visceral gut reaction that happens. Um, so it's really a matter of getting people to pause and take a breath and actually look at their surroundings and kind of come back down to earth, do a grounding, if you will. And once they do that, yeah, I think they'll start to see it's okay.
So you are saying that, or your Archangel Michael, your angels are saying that once that when it happens, we'll actually know something's happening.
Yes.
It's going to be too profound for us to miss it.
Yeah.
And does that mean everyone's going to feel it, or just the people who've raised their vibrational frequency?
It's a little bit of both. Yes, thank you. So the people that have raised their frequencies generally are going to be fine with it because they're like, oh yeah, we already knew.
We're
It's the
waiting.
people that are not kind of aware of that. There will be pockets of people that will still be able to deny and bury it so far down, but that will be the outlier rather than the norm.
Will that be like our government or people who are don't even sort of who are on the lower spectrum of energetics?
Kind of. It's more like people that don't interact with a lot of other people. Yeah. So the ones that are sort of like disconnected from the outside world, from social media, from television, all that sort of stuff. The ones that really keep to themselves are going to be the ones that are like, what the heck? Yeah.
But they'll notice something also. So everyone's going to notice something happened.
Yes, it's just that those folks will be able to talk themselves out of it, as most folks tend to do with paranormal things.
Right, right. Anything that upsets their paradigm, they kind of wipe out of existence. So it will wake up those who are ready to wake up, and those who aren't will probably just yawn and go back to bed.
Yeah, there might be some struggle there too, but it'll be okay. Huh? Yeah.
I love it. I love it. Is there anything else that they want to tell us as long as we have them here with us?
Michael says, remember to breathe. It's always a good one.
You know, I'm always being reminded to breathe. It's true. So we should remember to breathe. And you're saying that this could actually happen next fall of
Yeah.
2026.
Yes. Yep.
Oh boy. Like that's going to be after the New Living Expo. Okay, so we can all get prepared. It's too bad it's not going to be the weekend of.
That would be cool.
Can you put in a request?
We can ask. There's so much free will though. Like, that's tough.
Interesting. Is there anything else that he wants us to know? Like, how does he interact with people, by the way, Archangel Michael?
um, he tends to interact with people sort of as they're used to communicating with spirit. So a lot of people will get him in dreams. Sometimes he'll just operate in the background, no like interaction. But for me, I get a lot of like feelings around him. He does do some of that telepathy as well, but yeah, a lot of like feeling. He's a very big energy for me.
Well, yeah, actually, when you mention him, as you're talking about him, I can kind of feel him all around you in that sky behind you, actually.
I love that.
Yeah, no, I can actually feel him back there. That's quite a portal that you created there, Megan.
Thank you.
So, quite a portal, because when you meant, especially when you mentioned the wings, I could really see his wings. So, what is Archangel Michael's role with people, and how does he help you in your work?
For me, he tends, so for most people, he tends to be sort of this really like protective energy. Like you can call him in and he's gonna ward off anything that you don't want in your space. He's very good about that. With me in particular, he's pretty playful. Some people get that from him, some people don't. But for me, it's very playful. And the one interaction I always bring up when I talk about this is one time I was like trying to raise the vibration and do something very silly, and he showed up in my third eye vision like completely naked, and I was like, what is happening? I was like embarrassed but like giggling and laughing in that sort of way. um so for me, he tends to be like a vibration raiser. One of the ways he's been working with me quite a bit is on like my own ability to protect myself. So there's been instances where I've shown up to a place and there's maybe some not so great energies there, and like I asked him to come help me and he shows up and he's like, nah, you got this. And I'm like, what the heck? And so I start like I get rid of the energies and it's fine, but like it's very like playful and I'm laughing about it afterwards.
So he's actually assessing your skills and watching out for you and helping you upgrade them.
Yes,
Like, oh, you
absolutely.
need a little help here. You don't need help here. Wow. Can you do that for all of us?
He says, yeah, anybody that's willing. I have not encountered anybody that has gotten a no from Michael before. Some other entities won't work with everybody, but he seems to be pretty happy with everybody.
I I have to laugh. So he shows up for you half the time with naked.
Yeah.
Well, I've seen him that way. That's
Yeah.
why I'm so surprised. If you saw my mouth drop open, it was the last thing I expected you to say. Okay. I do soul portraits for people. And I have one client who is an embodiment he's a spiritual warrior and very connected to Archangel Michael. And as I did the art, one of the pieces or two of the pieces had him half naked, like no shirt, nothing, like this sword again along here and these huge wings. So he's naked with wings. And I was just like, I don't even know if I showed my client that one. I was so taken aback. I was just so surprised.
I love that so much. I would be delighted to see something like that. That's hilarious.
Okay, I'll have to get a number and send it to you.
Yeah.
that that was really because it was a surprise to me. And again, this is how our own personal limiting beliefs can actually impact us because I didn't expect him to be naked. Therefore, I didn't trust what I saw. I wouldn't even show it to my client because how do you show a naked Archangel Michael?
Yep, I totally understand.
I mean, isn't that disrespectful?
I think he seems to usually enjoy it. I think he gets a laugh out of people being like uncomfortable in that way.
That's so funny. He was probably laughing at me right now because I have never spoken about this publicly or privately to anyone.
Oh, I'm honored. Thank you.
I wonder the significance. Yes. Well, these are very interesting conversations we're having with Megan and Archangel Michael. I have to tell Neil that he was invited to the interview. So, does Michael have anything else last minute that he want us to know? We're doing a good job here on the planet. Anything we should look out for?
He does say just thank you.
Oh,
Yeah.
he's thanking us
Yeah.
for
Just being. That's all. Just
like
that's it.
that's kind of interesting. What do angels think of humans? I never asked that question.
It depends on which angel you're talking to. Generally, Michael has a great affinity for them. Some other ones don't tend to like to come out as much because they find us annoying, to be quite frank.
Anyone we'd recognize their names. I
I
feel
don't
like
know that
he's
we would
throwing
know their
shells.
names. I don't think they've made it into history because they're like, so no, thank you.
Got it. Well, and they're also fallen angels.
Yep, absolutely.
Have you had experience with the fallen angels?
I don't know if I've worked with Baphomet before. I don't know if he counts as a fallen angel. I can't recall. I know like the Lucifer energy I've talked to once or twice. It's very interesting. It activates sort of like different spaces in my body. Like it feels very like root and sacral chakra kind of focused. It's not necessarily an energy I like working with, but they are there. Yeah.
So, what kind of situations would find you working with them?
With Baphomet specifically, he was one of the guides of one of my clients, interestingly.
Aha.
Yeah, I was like, oh, okay, I didn't expect that at all. It was right because it was the right guidance for the client at the time, but I had a hard time delivering some of those communications from him because my human ego was like, I don't agree with most of this. So it was one of those moments I had to step back and say, okay, ego, you need to get out of the way. That's not my place. But it was fascinating.
So, it's not your place to censor what they're bringing through to the client, even if it's of a different frequency than you like.
Yes, absolutely.
I can hear kind of the message behind the message, if that makes sense. It's like, oh,
Yes.
okay, something else was happening with all of this.
Right. There's always like this element of perspective that I come back to when you talk to different energies and clients. And so I don't like this like hierarchical structure, like the high vibe, low vibe. It's just instead of like up and down, it's really a left and right spectrum type of thing. Like what I think is wrong for me is right for somebody else. And that's not to say it's good or bad. It just is. And it really depends on where you're coming from.
So when we talk about these darker energies here on the planet versus the lighter energies here on the planet, how do you work with both of those then?
Uh, yeah, so it, I guess I just do. I just talk to them. I tend to have to ground a little bit more when I work with, especially maybe some of what would be considered the lower astral or the darker energies. Um, it's not something I necessarily shy away from, but it's not something I go seeking out either. Occasionally, I do a lot of dream work as well, and sometimes I'll end up in like a lower astral where, like, most people would consider it to be a nightmare, but I'm like, oh, this is just obnoxious. Like, get me out of here. It's not scary. It's just like, why am I here?
So you work with them more in the dream state
I do, yeah.
and you remember these dreams. So you're kind of having connections there.
Yes, absolutely.
That's exciting. What can people do to have more connection in their sleep state, maybe?
I use a lot of crystals for my dream work. And then the other thing I always tell people is write your dreams down every morning. Even if you don't remember anything, that act of knowing that you're going to be writing something down helps you to remember the dreams. And that's kind of the key to starting to work with them more. Once you start working with them more, I like to hold on to crystals to kind of help guide what direction I want my dreams to go in. So I really like all your typicals, your amethyst, your quartz, your obsidians. Moldavite's been sort of an interesting dream state one. Iolite's really great for shamanic journeying. It's really fun. I like playing with them all.
I love crystals. The more I dive into it, I have one sitting right by my computer right here,
Oh, I love
cleansing
it.
the energy of it. And kind of a funny thing yesterday happened to me. I saw that my daughter had called like hours before I pick up the phone to call her video. She said she was in Chicago and she says, Mom, I'm in a crystal store. How did you know to call me? She denied ever calling me that day. But I was told to call her that exact moment. And I even got to pick out the crystal she's going to give me for Christmas.
Oh my gosh, I love that so much.
But it felt so telepathic.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So this new generation that's coming out, do you have any thoughts about what's happening with them or how advanced they're becoming so quickly?
Yes, it feels like it's sort of like the next step in human evolution to like kind of speed up that energetic awakening process. It'll be interesting because they're also living in a world of people that haven't necessarily had that same life experience. And so I think there will be some of kind of that generational what do you call it? I'm forgetting the word, like generalizations that go with it or labels. Um, I think they're going to be okay because, especially the younger folks, they have each other to kind of bounce things off of. And I think that there's enough folks uh, just throughout everywhere that kind of have this knowledge and the acumen to be able to help guide those people. Um, so yeah, it should be interesting. I really like watching kind of the younger generations, especially like with the slang and all the things that come out because like it's fun, I think.
I feel like, from what I understand, they're gifted with, and they have many of them have their memories intact already at a very young age. And I'm thinking that there's something going on in the energy of the galaxy and our planet that they're already some of them have these ascension skills already.
I think so. I bet they'll teach a lot of us how to do some of it too, honestly.
Kind of interesting, right? And I've seen a lot of videos with kids that are actually teleporting things
What? I haven't seen any of those.
from China. These videos are coming from China.
I'll have to
And
go
they were
find.
not, this is before AI, so they're not AI generated. And you see kids in a classroom, these Chinese kids that are being trained. The Chinese are actually training those children who come in with those gifts to do advanced work.
That is so cool.
And we should
Man,
be training those people,
like I want to go to training. This sounds so cool.
right? That's the Jedi training all of us want to go to, in a sense, that we can just, pull up a spaceship from the pond would be cool as far as I'm concerned.
Yes, I've always wanted to seek out those Egyptian mystery schools. I know I've had a past life like living in the school and learning, but I want to go back so I can figure out how to levitate. Like someday I'll find the time.
The energy is there. So, Portal to Ascension, Neil and I took two groups of people to Egypt in 2023. And up in the King's Chamber, there are all these ascension tools up there, and people have had quite unique experiences. And past life memory coming back very quickly when you're in that energy of it. So that would be a great place for you to go to activate that. Because once your soul knows you're going, you're in an activation state till you get there anyway.
I love that. It is on my list. I'm going to find a way there at some point. I'll manifest it.
Well, interesting. So, tell us about your solar glow because as you were talking, as you talked before, you're talking about going to Egypt. I swear I can see you in that pyramid and the solar glow coming out through the top of it.
I can see it too. Interesting. I can't tell when it is. Maybe 2028. That's what I'm seeing. Yeah, we'll get there. I've manifested trips before. I actually got invited to go to the Monroe Institute earlier this year, and I had manifested that like the year prior, so that was cool.
How did you? I want to hear about the Monroe Institute.
It's a really incredible place. They do sound healing and hemisync, so they'll use binaural beats to kind of activate that meditative state. And so their program is you go through what they call the gateway process, where you're basically going to higher and higher levels, and you can start to kind of pick out where you go on the other side. So you can go to a state of like no space, no time, a state of just expanded awareness. So you can start to talk to some of the beings around you. And it's just this really incredible like program because the sound gets you there very quickly without having to do all the training of years and years of meditative practice.
I have friends who trained there.
Do you?
Yeah, who trained there and really became very proficient in helping souls cross.
Oh my gosh. I saw that program, and that was one of the ones I was really interested in doing because I think one of the things that they'll do is you write down the information about the person that you talk to, and then you can go look them up and find out that they're actually people that have really lived.
That's an amazing confirmation
Yeah.
because, as an intuitive myself, confirmation's the most important thing. Like, is this really happening? Did that person really exist? Did that past life really exist?
Yes.
And so I always look for confirmation.
Me too.
So let's talk a little bit more about other aspects of your work. Like, I know you do a lot of stuff outside, trees, nature, but what does your work look like?
Well, I guess kind of the crux of what I do is I crowdsource all of the questions for my channels. So I don't come up with most of the questions. People send them in to me. So every week I'll kind of go through the list, see what people are most interested in. Sometimes I'll do like a subject matter list of questions. And then a lot of times what happens is the spirit that's really connected to the subject comes through. So when I talk to or talk ask about like animal spirits and kind of what that looks like, Cyrano's is the one that typically comes through for that. I didn't even know who he was before working with him, so I actually had to go look it up afterwards. Um, so yeah, so that's what I'll do, and then I turn those into videos for people to go out explore. Um, and then I'll turn them into even like shorter reels for social media. And then from that, that's expanded into doing talks like we're going to be here in California, which I'm really excited for. I have private client sessions where people can come ask me questions about their personal life. And then I do write some articles on my blog. I try to do weekly. I'm not super great about it, about just different topics that people are looking to explore. Asking questions of spirit is really great, but sometimes it's nice to have kind of that succinct written, here's everything that I've discerned about that topic from spirit written in an article, so you don't have to go through all of the videos and the work yourself necessarily.
What are your questions most about that people ask you about? Like, what's the top 2 or 3 subjects people want to know about?
Yeah, religion is definitely a big one. People are really into like Jesus, Mary Magdalene, the Mormon Church, Islam, all those type of things. I would say aliens is number 2, but I might be biased because that's really one of my areas of interest. And then beyond that, it's just what happens after death. Where do we go? What happens? Are we okay? Do we reincarnate? All of those type of things.
Ah, okay. Well, we have a couple more minutes. You want to answer that one?
Yes, absolutely. So, from what I gather, when we die, there's usually a life review. And people, I think, spend roughly 3 days or so in that life review in Earth time. Time doesn't exist on the other side. That's a whole other thing. Um, and you could just go through like your life events, like what happened, what went well, what did you fulfill that you were supposed to, what didn't you fulfill. Um, and then you go to like this place of healing where you're kind of letting go of some of that energy, reintegrating onto the other side, and then from there it's really up to you. You can hang out in spirit for as long as you want to. Some people choose to reincarnate right away. Some people take their time. And I say take their time. Time is all at once on the other side, so it's really all relative. But on Earth time, it can be for a long time.
I notice earth time and spirit time are very different.
Yeah. And it can be hard to translate those two. Like when I do future predictions, it moves so much because of that weird translation that's happening.
When you say it moves so much, are you saying that like when you do future predictions, do they change once you because you've named it, then it changes, or does it deepen, or and
Sometimes, yes. Like sometimes just the act of putting that out there, it can either manifest or it can repel, depending on what the collective energies are doing with it. People can absolutely change dates too, and that's one of kind of the intricacies of free will. You can try and predict it, but sometimes people don't act the way you expect them to, and that can also change things around.
it's been a great chat. What are you going to be talking about at the New Living Expo?
So I'm gonna do a very brief talk, maybe 10 or 15 minutes, and then the rest of the time is going to be a dowsing rod Q&A. So I'll be answering audience questions with whatever you guys want to chat about.
And that is your modus operandi, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
Okay, ask the questions and I'll give you the answer. And if you don't ask the right question, you don't get the right. No. Um,
Yes.
do you also sell dowsing rods? Are you?
I don't sell them. I do have an affiliate link for them in my website if you're interested. Maybe someday, but not there yet.
No, I need a new set. After I saw those, I had those and they bent, and
Oh
now
no.
I need new ones. So I'm going to probably use your link. You'll see.
Thank you.
So you're going to be doing then sort of dowsing and act. It's not just the dowsing, but you'll also be answering questions. You'll be talking. Are you going to have a booth? Do you have a booth or a
I
table?
won't have a booth, but I will also have a separate workshop where you can come and learn how to use the dowsing rods. So we'll go through a meditation and then I'll help you guys kind of try and figure out how to use the rods if they're not moving for you.
Oh, that's a big deal. So you're going to, you know what? I always wanted to teach dowsing at one of these events, and I'm so happy you're doing it.
Oh, thank you. Well, I hope to see you there. If you're not too busy, you might be packed too, though.
Well, I'm executive producer, so I might be running around, but I will make sure to pop in and kind of, not to distract you, but yes. I don't know if I'll get a chance to really sit in, but I'm going to be so happy to meet you and to see those rods of yours for sure.
Me too.
So,
Thank
is there
you.
anything else you wish I had asked you?
Not that I can think of. It's been lovely chatting, though. I love these sort of chats and just connecting on topics, and it's fun.
You know, I really like to have a conversation. It doesn't always work out right, but but I think we had a lot to kind of converse about.
Yes.
And to me, that makes a good interview, a fun interview, sort of a lively one, really. Well, I think we've asked a lot of questions. I know that you're going to be at the New Living Expo. I'm going to invite all of you to join us at the New Living Expo. And the reason really is that it's your soul family returning, coming together. It's better than any family gathering you've ever had because there's none of those, you know, those intergenerational arguments or energies. It is with your true soul family, many of whom you'll walk in the door and go, oh my God, I know these people. I know Megan, I know Joan, I feel like I've been a part of this. And when that happens, your heart starts singing, right?
Absolutely. And the chorus is just so big and bright and beautiful.
That's how I feel. I love that hallelujah chorus. And that is what happens. So, Megan, I just have to tell you, thank you so much for your clarity, your sincerity, some of the love that you brought through. I'm totally awed that you brought through Archangel Michael into this session. No one has ever brought Archangel Michael into any interview that I've done. And I just found it really healing and very profound, and you made them feel real to me. So I really just appreciate you guys. Reach out to Megan, her solar glow meditations, her healing work, her channeling, her predictions for you. I think all of that makes her a good choice to reach out to work with. So thank you so much, love. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
Okay, wasn't she beautiful? Like a beautiful soul. Absolutely adorable. And I want to thank all of you for watching, for being a part of the show, for being here. I want to thank you for supporting the mission of Portal to Ascension, supporting New Living Expo and all of our speakers. And be sure to check out portaltoascension.org for upcoming events so you can explore more there. And if today's conversation activated something inside of you, I invite you to check Joan of Angels. Go to joanofangels.com and see if there is a resonance there for you. Meanwhile, expect miracles, everyone, because the planet is changing and so are we. Have a great day, everyone. And thank you for joining us.